I've been waiting for you.
Hello everyone, it's BYG Agami back with another video. Now today we're going to be discussing about Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, VRAINS. I have no idea how to pronounce the name. I think we're just going to have to wait until we get a trailer and then the commentator says the name. But until then, I'm just going to call it Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, and I might be saying it incorrect, so I apologize for that. But man, we just got the show's name, and we got the monster for Yusaku's Ace Monsters revealed as well. So I'm just hyped. Like, the fact is that when I did this video about the news, which I will link down below, I didn't look at the image at all. I didn't analyze it whatsoever, so I'm very sorry about that. So now I'm going to be doing a video just analyzing the poster image itself, because there's a lot of things like that you can sort of pick up. So first thing I want to talk about is the logo itself. The logo, I'm not a fan of. I've never liked the whole, even when, and I know it's kind of off topic, but when I make thumbnails as well, I never put blue on red. With the black stroke looks sick, but I never put blue on red. The font's color is blue, and then it has a stroke that's red, another stroke on it that's black. Black and red looks sick. The blue looks pretty cool, but that's okay. And then on the back of the logo itself, it seems like it's like a clock of some sort, like a gear, which I don't know, seems pretty interesting. I know we're gonna get information about that. Has to be something important, that little clock or something like that. But let's talk about Decode Talker. This monster is actually pretty damn badass. No lie, it looks sick. It depends who worked on this monster. Did Takahashi work on this monster? Now, we know he did have involvement in the sense of there are interviews that talk about how Takahashi's involved in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's basically every 3 years or so, I don't know, the producers or something like that sit down with them, they chat for a little bit, they get ideas from Takahashi, and they use that as a blueprint for the next series. It just depends if he drew the character. We don't have information on that yet. I would imagine he probably drew Yusaku Fujiki. Possibly, we don't know. As well for Decode Talker, I don't know if he drew that monster as well. We all know he drew Black Magician. I don't know if he drew Neos, but I'm pretty sure he drew Stardust and Yusei. But let's talk about Decode Talker. It kind of looks like Takahashi, like his drawing way. I'm getting Blackluster Soldier vibes, as weird as that sounds, from Decode Talker. It looks a little bit like him, especially like the helmet or the headpiece. But let's talk about just his design. It's like, I would say a dark blue with a purple aura and purple stripes, as well as like gold stripes as well. His sword looks badass. No lie, his sword looks really badass. And it matches Yusaku's color scheme as well, of his hair as well as a little bit of his suit. But his hair looks interesting. So we got information about that in the Yoga Organization translations, which I will link down below. It says, the main character, Fujiki Yusaku. Yusaku is usually just a high school student, but when he duels in the VR space, he transforms and wears a cool costume. So that's his transformed state. So there are Jump Festa translations regarding this information, and I didn't take them into consideration because the source wasn't credible enough, but it seems like the source was credible, so I'll link it down below to the Jump Festa translation. But the fact is that he has this cool transformed state. Actually, I take that back, it's not cool. I like the spiky hair, that looks pretty dope, but the color scheme just looks awful in my opinion. I'm sorry, it just looks awful. Like, none of these colors, like, I don't enjoy them at all. I would say the red part's pretty cool. I like the pink aura, but besides that, nothing else really stands out. I like Yusaku's eyes. That's one thing I will comment. I like his eyes as well as his eyebrows a lot. But in addition to that, I don't like his suit at all. I like that little golden orangish line that's like sticking out. That little Tron light of golden and orange. That's pretty cool. But the green, I just don't like it. Like, it doesn't match with his hair. I'm usually like a color of like black, red, blue. Like, I don't know, just those bright, colorful colors, not these dark colors. But in addition to that, let's look at his dual disc. This is pretty interesting, guys. His dual disc does not have a, how would I say, like a dueling platform, like how when you look at a dual disc, it has 5 spots usually, but his dual disc doesn't, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's virtual reality as well, so it's going to be like a hologram or something like that. Because you look at Decode Talker's sword as well, it sort of looks like it's like VR-esque, but I don't know, at the same time it might just be a sword that just like sticks out normally, and it's decent at most. It's not that good. It doesn't stand out that much. I wish his dual disc was pretty damn like colorful. It sort of looks like a DSOD dual disc. In addition to that, let's talk about that weird little monster. I have no idea what the hell that is. I don't even know if that's part of, yeah, that's definitely part of Yoga 6, but that weird monster, circular, what could that be? Could that be one of Yusaku's monsters? If that's one of Yusaku's monsters, I guarantee you it's like a weak important monster like Karibo was, how it's weak but has a strong effect, or Wing Karibo, And I don't know if Yusei had, a lot of Yusei's cards were weak, and then, once he's synchron summoned or tuned, then they would become strong, but it might be something like that. But I haven't watched Zexal or Arc V, so I can't talk about that. I know a little bit of basic information about Arc V and Zexal, but a lot of people have been saying they've been getting Zexal vibes from this show, which is kind of cool because Zexal, even though a lot of people hate on Zexal, at least the dub, and I would say a portion of the sub, at least the first half of the sub version, the fact is that Zexal and Duel Monsters were regarded as the best, like they were the best in terms of sales, etc. So that's cool. Oh yeah, Yusaku's hoverboard. I'm sorry, that just looks so bootleg. It looks like a, I don't know, like those, I'll post an image up right now, like when you have gym back in like freaking elementary school and they had like that little shit that you would sit on and like move backwards when you were doing like those circuits in gym, like fun time, those little mini bootleg skateboards. That's what that looks like, and that is not appealing. Yusaku's design is not appealing. Like his normal design I'm fine with, but his like transform state where his hair is all up, it's just not appealing to me. I don't really enjoy it, but hopefully over time he gets a better hoverboard, because I just can't deal with that for like whatever 150 episodes or 145 episodes with a hoverboard that looks that shitty, unless it has like a cool transform state like Yusaku does, which is most likely not going to happen. But I don't know. You look at the cards though, man, they teased the shit out of us. I imagine what those 4 cards are in Yusaku's hand, as well as his deck, and he has another card in his hand, that the typical yoga pose. So today there is another image that came out. Basically, you guys remember the Jump Festa Duel concept image that came out? Well, there's a clearer version of it's HD, and what I wanted to talk about, I recorded another video, but I was like, screw it. And also, I do want to say thank you to a YouTuber by the name of JBYYX3 for actually finding this image. So shouts out to them. Their channel will be linked down below. They post a lot of funny stuff, really funny stuff. I actually enjoy his content, so check him out. But that image of the Duel concept basically had engravings of text, like a monster effect on the hover bridge. But you guys remember that little reddish little barrier that's holding up the hoverboard Duelist? They had text on that, which is quite interesting. But I don't know, like just looking at these images, it just seems like this isn't like I feel like the gear that Yusaku has right now, it's definitely going to change. Because you look at both of those hoverboards that presented in the Duel concept image, they look so much better than Yusaku's current gear. It just looks like his current gear looks like shit compared to these people. What I want to talk about is that there's engravings on a little bit on the buildings, but on the hover bridge, there's like a lot of engravings, and there is monster effects, which is quite interesting. So it seems like when they're gonna duel, when they're gonna put their card, when Yusaku summons Decode Talker on the field, the monster's effect's gonna present on the duel bridge. Now the fact is that, of course, they're going to show the card and they're going to state the card like, oh, the card's effect. It's just a typical way that they do it in Yogo. It's interesting because, like, how's it going to play out? Because when they're hoverboard dueling, or when they're dueling in cyberspace, how the hell are they going to read the card effects? Like, do they have to look down on the field and, of course, like, look down on the field and still concentrate at the fact that, oh, they got a hoverboard duel and of course duel, so they're going to have to multitask, which I like. Like in all my other videos and discussions that I've done, which I'll link down below in a huge playlist, I've stated that I want this show to incorporate obstacles for the dueling. Because you look at the other opponent, the more non-futuristic duelist that has he's basically like grinding on this snake or this dragon. I did a discussion on it, which I will link down below as well, on who we think that person is. We don't think it's an antagonist or a villain of some sort. We just think it's like a typical person. But we see that he's grinding, basically just grinding on this snake, which I like. I enjoy that because it adds more of a excitement to the series rather than 5Ds. Now the fact is, I've always said this, 5Ds had a good, interesting way of dueling. It was very new. GX and Duel Monsters was typical dueling, but then 5Ds evolved, riding on motorcycles. But the fact is that it wasn't the riding on motorcycles that I wanted to see. It was more of just typical driving and dueling. What this series seems like it's going to do is it's going to have the hoverboard bridge, bam. They're going to be, of course, driving their hoverboards, but at the same time do tricks, and at the same time there's going to be obstacles in the way, and at the same time grind on their monsters or use their monsters like for an ability or some sort, which is going to make it more interesting and harder for the duelist. It's going to be, I guarantee it's going to be hard. Like, we're probably going to have the first episode is probably going to be Yusaku dueling or whatever. I hope he's not a prodigy of some sort and he's just going to fail. He's going to fail at it and then constantly get better. Like, I remember Akiza, when she was learning how to turbo duel, she failed and then she kept on trying and trying, and then she finally became good at it. Of course, she had Yusei as her mentor in terms of how to learn how to turbo duel, and Yusei is the damn pro turbo duelist. So it's going to be good to see who Yusaku's guidance is and who sort of teaches him how to turbo duel. But besides that, there really wasn't any other new information. Oh yeah, also one thing I want to talk about before I head this and end this video off is that, alright, in the Duel concept image, there was this spiky, pointy thing, whatever you want to call it. And it's not a monster, because if you look at the futuristic Duel Disk with silver hoverboard and blue Duel Disk, there's no cards on his Duel Disk. Now, for the person that's grinding on the snake or serpent-esque thing, it looks like he probably has one thing on his Duel Disk, and that's, of course, the monster that he's grinding on. So, what could that pointy thing be? Well, on our Facebook fan page, regarding the 6th Yu-Gi-Oh anime series, as well as like you guys can discuss about it, there's a viewer that actually posted in a fan art of that little pointy thing, and what I thought is, what if that's the Duel Disk hologram projector? Because in Duel Monsters, when Battle City first happened and the new Duel Disk was created and Kaiba Corporation held Battle City, of course Kaiba wanted to get rid of the ghouls. During the Rare Hunter versus Yami Yugi duel, the Rare Hunter that had Exodia, there's this scene where they show off the new Duel Disk, and there are these discs that come on the left and right side, and they basically project the solid vision from that. What if that's the more futuristic version of that? Because that would be pretty damn dope, to be quite honest. And it would make a lot of sense. Of course, it wouldn't get in their way. They would just sort of roam on the side of them dueling, so of course it wouldn't get in the way, but that would be quite interesting, and probably could be like a hub of some sort. A majority of the stuff I said is, of course, speculation. But it's good to bring up this speculation because we're a few days away from getting a lot of information regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! 6. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day as always.